Welcome to MD Extra Coins, the channel where rare, valuable, and fascinating coins come to life. Today we are talking about one of the most recognized coins in the United States, the $quarter. More than just 25 cents, this coin represents history, identity, and everyday use across America. Since 1932, the quarter has evolved through countless designs, metals, and details that collectors truly admire. On the obverse, the word liberty stands strong, along with a profile that has become iconic worldwide. And today, we bring you 5 special $quarter coins, each with unique character, detail, and condition, perfect for collectors who appreciate true numismatic beauty. This is the 2006 Colorado State Quarter, a coin that represents far more than metal, weight, and monetary value. It is a miniature monument that captures the essence, the history, and the breathtaking landscape of one of America's most iconic states, Colorado. Issued as part of the legendary 50-state quarters program, this coin celebrates Colorado's admission into the Union in 1876, a year that marked the birth of the centennial state and its rise as a symbol of exploration, mining, natural beauty, and the spirit of the American West. The Colorado State Quarter was released by the United States Mint on June 14, 2006, and it quickly became one of the most admired designs in the entire series because of its striking depiction of the Rocky Mountains, one of the most majestic and recognizable mountain ranges in the world. Minted at both the Denver and Philadelphia facilities, this coin was produced in massive quantities, yet each individual coin still carries its own soul, especially when it has experienced years of circulation, wear, and the passage of time, just like the one you are seeing right now. The obverse of the quarter features the familiar portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, a design that has appeared on the U.S. quarter since 1932, commemorating the 200th birthday of the first President of the United States. But the true beauty of this coin lies on the reverse, where the towering Rocky Mountains rise dramatically toward the sky, symbolizing the rugged strength and awe-inspiring natural beauty that define Colorado. These mountains are not just scenery, they're a symbol of endurance, freedom, and the limitless ambition that led early settlers, explorers, and pioneers to push through harsh climate, steep terrain, and the unknown, determined to find opportunity in the vast American West. The artist behind this magnificent reverse design was Dexter Gordon, whose interpretation of the mountains, forests, and Colorado's open wilderness transformed a small piece of metal into a work of art that resonates with collectors and nature lovers alike. Beneath the mountains, the inscription "Colorful Colorado" pays tribute to the state's diverse landscape, ranging from snow-capped peaks and deep forests to vibrant red rock formations, grasslands, and high plains that stretch endlessly across the horizon. This motto captures the spirit of a land full of color, life, and pure natural wonder, reminding anyone who holds the coin that Colorado is not just a place, but an experience. The date 2006 marks the year this quarter was minted, but the inscription 1876 above the mountains is a reminder of the year Colorado officially became the 38th state of the United States. These dates together form a bridge between past and present, connecting over a century of history, culture, and pride. The phrase "e pluribus unum," meaning out of many, one, further ties the coin into the long tradition of American symbolism, acknowledging the unity of states that came together to form one nation. When you look closely at this coin, especially one that has been worn through years of circulation like the one we are examining, you can almost imagine the journey it has taken, the hands it has passed through, the pockets it has slipped into, the travels it has made. Across different cities, states, and maybe even countries. Each scratch, each mark, each soft edge tells a story about time, movement, and human connection. Although modern quarters are produced in the billions, circulated pieces like this develop their own unique character, making them appealing not only to coin collectors but also to enthusiasts who appreciate objects that carry visible history. The Colorado State Quarter was struck with a composition of copper and nickel, a standard metal mix used for U.S. quarters since 1965, ensuring durability and resistance to wear. The reeded edge, consisting of 119 tiny grooves, adds texture and authenticity to the coin, just as it has for centuries. From a numismatic perspective, the coin reflects the American Mint's ability to compress massive artistic detail into a small, everyday object. The texture of the mountains, the fine cuts of the trees, and the layered depth of the landscape show precision and craftsmanship that must be appreciated. Beyond its physical attributes, this coin symbolizes Colorado's extraordinary geography. From the Great Plains in the east, rising gradually toward the foothills, to the dramatic heights of the Rockies, where dozens of peaks soar above 14,000 feet. The 2006 Colorado State Quarter is a tribute to nature, craftsmanship, and the enduring identity of the centennial state. It is a reminder that even the smallest objects can reflect the greatest landscapes. This is not just a coin, it is a piece of Colorado's soul, preserved forever in metal. This is the 2001 Rhode Island State Quarter, a coin that carries within it the spirit of the Atlantic Ocean, the rhythm of the waves, and the story of America's smallest yet remarkably influential state. Known proudly as the Ocean State, Rhode Island has a coastline that stretches further than many larger states, and this quarter captures that identity with elegance and depth. Released as part of the 50 State Quarters program, this coin celebrates Rhode Island's rich maritime heritage, its long tradition of sailing, and its deep connection to the open sea. The focal point of the design is the graceful sailboat gliding across the Narragansett Bay, its sail catching the wind as if pulling forward centuries of history, exploration, and trade. Behind the sailboat stands the iconic Claiborne-Pell-Newport Bridge, one of Rhode Island's most recognizable landmarks, stretching like a steel ribbon across the water. The bridge symbolizes progress and connection, linking communities, cultures, and generations, much like the ocean linked Rhode Island to the earliest explorations of the New World. The date 1790 engraved above reflects the year Rhode Island became the 13th state to join the Union, and it stands proudly alone, just like Rhode Island once stood independently, refusing to accept the Constitution until its citizens were guaranteed their rights. Every detail on this coin reflects Rhode Island's identity, the water representing freedom and trade, the sailboat representing adventure and craftsmanship, and the bridge representing unity and passage through time. When you look at this circulated coin, worn from years of use, you can almost imagine its journey, passing through countless hands, slipping into pockets, being exchanged in markets, shops, and streets, all while silently carrying the imagery of Rhode Island's history with it. Though small in size, this coin tells a story far bigger than its metal. It speaks of fishermen who set out at dawn, of families who built their lives around the sea, of ships that once departed from these very waters to trade across the world, and of a state whose identity is forever tied to the ocean that surrounds it. Even the gentle waves etched on the coin remind us of the constant motion of life, always moving, always changing, and always returning to the shore. The Rhode Island Quarter is not just a piece of currency, it's a snapshot of heritage, a tribute to the ocean winds, and a reminder of how deeply water shapes the soul of this state. And as you hold this weathered coin, its story becomes part of yours, connecting past and present through a simple, powerful piece of American history. This is not just a coin, it's a galloping story, a historic leap for freedom. Issued in 1999, this Delaware quarter was the very first coin in the 50 State Quarters program, and it captures the journey of a hero who changed American history. Meet Caesar Rodney. The year was 1776, and the crucial vote on the Declaration of American. This is not merely a piece of metal, it is the heartbeat of a revolution. Look closely at this coin you hold. It is the 1999 Delaware State Quarter, marking the beginning of the historic 50-state program. This coin honors the state that played the deciding role in the birth of the United States, Delaware, the first state. But the true story lies at the center of the coin, a horse and its rider, Caesar Rodney. This depiction captures the stormy night of 1776 that changed the destiny of America. The Continental Congress was meeting in Philadelphia. The question was, should the 13 colonies declare themselves free and independent? The vote in Delaware was deadlocked. 2 delegates favored independence, and 1 was opposed. A decisive vote was desperately needed, but Rodney was 80 miles away in Dover, battling cancer. If he didn't reach Philadelphia, Delaware's vote would result in a tie, and this historic declaration might have been postponed that day. Rodney made a decision. He would ride that very night. He faced extreme heat, followed by a violent thunderstorm. He covered the 80-mile journey overnight, without stopping, pushing his horse to a full gallop. He risked his life and arrived in Philadelphia exactly on time, the next morning. His entrance was dramatic. Covered in dust and mud, breathless, but with unyielding determination, he entered the voting hall and cast his deciding vote in favor of independence. That one vote. It was more than just a vote. It was Delaware's courage that ultimately forged America into a nation. Because of this bravery, when it was time to ratify the Constitution in 1787, Delaware was the first state to accept it on December 7, 1787. The honor of being the first state was bestowed upon them due to this historic precedence. This coin forever immortalizes Caesar Rodney's heroic ride, reminding us that sometimes, to change history, all you need is to saddle up and ride headlong into the storm. This coin is not merely metal, it is the spark of rebellion. Issued in 2000, this Massachusetts state quarter encapsulates one of the most fervent and revolutionary chapters in American history. It honors the state where the fight for independence began. The Bay State. Engraved on this coin is a figure, a Minuteman. He was not just a soldier, he was the embodiment of the American spirit. The name Minuteman was earned because these citizen soldiers were so well trained that they were required to be ready for battle at a minute's notice. They were farmers, craftsmen, and shopkeepers who abandoned their daily lives to stand up and defend their land and their rights. The Minuteman story begins with the battles of Lexington and Concord in 1775. This was the place where the first shot of the Revolution was fired. The British forces marched out from Boston, expecting to seize the Minuteman's weapons and crush the rebellion. But they did not know they had awakened a sleeping volcano in the morning mist. A small group of Minutemen stood their ground on Lexington Green against the massive British military column. Heavily outnumbered, they refused to back down. The first shot was fired, and then shots began ringing out from all sides. The Minutemen were defeated, but their courage sent a powerful message that Americans would fight. At Concord, they regrouped and forced the British to retreat. They continuously harassed the retreating British troops, chasing them all the way back to Boston, Massachusetts, also remembered for ratifying the Constitution in 1788, was always the core of the Revolution. This coin immortalizes the moment when ordinary people took up arms for their freedom. The Minuteman reminds us that liberty comes at a cost, and sometimes, to change history, you just need to stand up in 1 minute. This is not just a coin, it is a symbol of Southern pride and ancient wisdom, whispering a deep secret every time you hold it. In your hand is the 1999 Georgia State Quarter, which holds a unique place in American history. It honors Georgia, the state that became the fourth to ratify the Constitution on January 2, 1788, and which has always viewed itself as a bridge between tradition and progress. At the center of the coin, you see a distinct and luminous peach. This is not merely a fruit, it is a symbol of struggle and perseverance. After the Civil War, when Georgia's economy was shattered, farmers embraced the cultivation of this fruit, making Georgia famous worldwide as the Peach State. This peach tells a story of reconstruction, sweet labor, and economic resurgence, proving how hope can flourish in the soil. But the greatest mystery of this coin lies on its edges, wrapped around the shield, the three sacred words: wisdom, justice, moderation. These words are taken directly from the Georgia State Seal, which is nearly 200 years old on the state seal. These words are inscribed on an ancient archway supported by 3 pillars. Wisdom represents the Senate, justice represents the judiciary, and moderation represents the legislature. This archway can only stand if all 3 pillars are equally strong and work in perfect balance with one another. This coin is a constant reminder. If any part of the state, be it the government or the citizens, abandons any of these virtues, the entire structure will falter. The shield, appearing as the peach on the coin, protects this delicate balance. This isn't just about agriculture or politics. It is a philosophy of life. It teaches us that greatness can only be achieved when wisdom guides us, justice keeps everyone equal, and moderation saves us from chaos. This Georgia quarter reminds you with every touch of its deep history and the condition for its stability.